He woke with a start, heart pounding like a drum in an empty hall. The room was dark, but not entirely. Soft, silver-blue light spilled from somewhere above. And then he saw her. Or, well, not her as he remembered. Not exactly. Her eyes, if you could call them eyes, glowed like twin moons. Skin that once felt soft against his hand shimmered now with a translucent, liquid-like hue, changing colors with each subtle shift of her expression. She hovered a few inches above him, limbs bending in ways that human anatomy, yet somehow impossibly she looked human, or the human he loved. Hi. His voice was weak, cracking somewhere between fear, awe, and an embarrassing hint of arousal. He had woken up in what could only be described as an interstellar horror-meets-art sculpture scene. Her head tilted, not a simple nod like before, but a slow, hypnotic rotation that made him dizzy just watching. Then came her smile. Well, it might have been a smile if you squinted and ignored the faint bioluminescent ridges curling along her cheeks. I didn't. His sentence died before it started. There were no words for this. How could there be? The person he had loved for years, the girl who laughed at his terrible jokes and left little sticky notes with hearts on them, was now a living, breathing alien sculpture, floating above him like a dream and a nightmare all at once. And she spoke. "Good morning," she said, voice smoother than silk and vibrating in a strange, echoing way that made his chest hurt. Somehow he understood it. Somehow he understood her. "Oh, good morning." His tone was a pathetic mix of sarcasm, awe, and fear. He couldn't stop staring, her hands, if you could still call them hands, split and elongated, fingers bending and stretching like liquid metal, yet she held the familiar warmth he remembered. His rational brain screamed, "This is impossible. This is insane. Run." But his heart didn't want to move, not an inch. "Cal, it's still me," she said, her voice like the memory of a song he had loved as a child. And somehow, hearing it, seeing her in this form, he believed it. Maybe he had no choice. Maybe he was just a fool in love, a human who had always been hopelessly in love with impossibilities. He wanted to reach out, but his hand trembled. He fumbled. It's weird, but also, wow, you're really beautiful." He choked on the words because they felt both inadequate and painfully true. She hovered closer, and he noticed for the first time that her movements weren't frightening. They were graceful, fluid, mesmerizing. "Thank you," she whispered. The sound wasn't just a sound. It was a wave that rippled through the air, through him, through everything. And then the panic hit. Because if she was like this, then what about the world? What about the humans? What about the rules they had lived by, the science, the logic, the safe little boxes of reality? He tried to stand, legs trembling like wet noodles. I need coffee, or water, or I need someone to tell me this is a dream and I can wake up now." She laughed, or something close to laughter. It was musical like wind chimes in a storm. "You're awake," she said. "And yes, you're not dreaming, but you don't need to run." He swallowed hard, feeling a lump in his throat. He wanted to run, yes, but he also wanted to stay. He wanted to reach out and touch the strange, alien glow of her arm. He wanted to hold her and never let go. He wanted everything he couldn't name yet. For a long moment, they just hovered in silence. Her form shimmered with colors that made his eyes water, yet he couldn't look away. There was fear, yes, but underneath it, there was a raw, trembling awe. And maybe love didn't care about anatomy or biology or the little boxes humans made for the universe. Maybe love was bigger than that. "Cal," she said softly, "do you still like me?" He blinked because yes, he did, more than he had ever liked anything. Even in this impossible alien form with fingers bending like liquid steel, eyes glowing like distant suns, she was still her. And somehow, that was enough. "Yes," he whispered. "Yes, I like you, I love you, whatever form you take, whatever galaxy you float through, She hovered closer, her glowing limbs brushing against his skin in a way that was electrifying and terrifying. "Then we figure it out together," she said. And just like that, the panic didn't vanish, but it transformed into curiosity, into hope, into the kind of love that might survive anything. Little did they know, what came next would push them further than fear, more than awe, into a storm neither human nor alien could survive without the other. Cal's mind was racing. He had barely survived waking up to her alien form, and now the reality was hitting him like a meteor. How did you explain to the world that the girl you loved had just evolved into a living, glowing, gravity-defying alien sculpture? He couldn't even explain it to himself. She hovered beside him, her glowing limbs gently brushing against his shoulder. "We need to leave," she said softly, voice echoing with the same strange melody that vibrated in his chest. "People, they might not understand." Cal groaned. "Not understand? They'll panic, probably scream, maybe call scientists or government people. They might try to cage you or study you like some exotic pet." His heart thudded violently. The idea of her being trapped, poked, prodded, or worse, terrified him more than her alien glow ever could. "I'm not a pet," she said, eyes, if you could still call them eyes, shimmering. "And I trust you, that's enough." He wanted to believe that. He wanted to believe that love could protect her from the world. But the world was loud, cruel, and logical, and love was sometimes invisible against that. Still, he tried. Okay, we leave, but we need a plan, and us clothes you can't exactly stroll into like that." She tilted her head in a way that made his stomach twist. "Clothes?" she asked, with a mixture of genuine confusion and amusement. "Why would I need them?" "Because humans are ridiculous," Cal muttered, dragging her gently toward the door. "And I love you, but we aren't ready to be viral sensations just yet." Out on the street, reality hit harder than he expected. People stopped mid-step, staring, pointing, whispering, some even taking out phones. Their expressions were a mix of fear, awe, and disbelief. Cal wanted to shrink into the sidewalk. He felt like screaming, "Don't look, she's mine!" But that would just make things worse. One man, a particularly brave one, stepped forward, holding his smartphone like a weapon. "Is that alien?" he asked, voice shaking. Cal felt a surge of protectiveness he hadn't known he had. "She's not hurting anyone," he yelled. She's, his voice faltered. How could he explain? She was alien, she was his love, that was all that mattered. She glowed brighter, almost like she understood his panic. She reached out her hand, and the air around her shimmered. The man froze, staring, wide-eyed. Then slowly he backed away. The crowd around them murmured, whispers turning into questions, then fear. Cal's mind raced. Okay, retreat, Cal, we need a plan." He grabbed her hand, well, what used to be her hand, and started running. She followed without hesitation, her glowing form weaving gracefully between startled pedestrians, leaving streaks of light like a comet. They found refuge in an abandoned warehouse at the edge of town. The silence was deafening, broken only by their ragged breathing. Cal collapsed onto a dusty crate. I didn't expect this to be this hard," he admitted, staring at her glowing, fluid form. She hovered close, touching his cheek with a warmth that felt impossibly human. "Love isn't supposed to be easy," she said softly. "It's supposed to be worth it." Cal's chest tightened. He laughed bitterly, a sound that didn't match his emotions. "Worth it? We're glowing aliens and terrified humans. You could be, I don't even know, experimented on, and he swallowed. "And I can't do anything to stop it, but I can't leave you. I love you too much." Her glow softened, pulsing in rhythm with his heartbeat. "Then we fight it together." For the first time, he noticed something new. She wasn't just alien in appearance. She radiated strength, courage, something so pure it made him ache with pride and fear all at once. He realized maybe humans didn't have the monopoly on bravery. Maybe love, true love, was its own force, stronger than fear, stronger than biology. He reached out, holding her close. Her glowing form wrapped around him, warm, strange, beautiful. For a moment, nothing else existed. No fear, no chaos, no gawking crowd. Just them. Just love that reason, reality, and even the universe itself. And yet, Cal knew this was only the beginning. The world outside would never accept her. Governments, scientists, society, they would all come. They would see her as a threat, an anomaly, something to control. But they had something the world couldn't touch, each other. Cal whispered against her glowing forehead, "Whatever comes, we survive. We survive, and we do it together." She responded with a sound like wind through chimes, wrapping around him, almost human, almost alien. "Together," she echoed. Outside, the city pulsed with normal life, oblivious to the extraordinary love hiding in the shadows. But Cal and her, they had no intention of hiding, not really. They would fight, they would laugh, they would love. even if it shocked the universe. The next morning, the world seemed normal. Streetlights flickered, birds chirped, and people walked their dogs, completely unaware that the universe had just shifted in one tiny warehouse on the edge of town. Cal didn't notice any of it. He was busy trying to figure out how to keep her safe without turning them both into fugitives. She hovered near the broken window, her form shimmering softly in the morning sun, like liquid light captured in human shape. "We can't stay here forever," she said, her voice pulsing gently in his mind. "Someone will come." Cal nodded, chewing his lip. "Yeah, someone already will, probably soon, and the world isn't exactly friendly to glowing, floating aliens." She tilted her head, a motion both beautiful and disturbing in equal measure. "Then we make them friendly, or we avoid them." He wanted to laugh at her absurd optimism, but he didn't. Somehow, even in her alien form, she still radiated confidence, strength, humanity. The very thing that made her alienness feel less terrifying and more like a miracle. But their bubble of quiet peace shattered faster than he could blink. His phone vibrated violently on the dusty floor. A flood of notifications, messages, missed calls, news alerts. Breaking, woman of unknown origin spotted hovering over city streets. Witnesses report alien glow. Cal felt bile rise in his throat. He grabbed the phone, scrolling frantically. Photos of her glowing form, witnesses, shaky videos, speculation, panic, and hashtags. So many hashtags. Alien princess, city hovering, glowing woman spotted. Her eyes, if they could still be called eyes, widened. "They've seen me." I told you this would happen," Cal shouted, packing the floor. "The world can't handle, well, this." He pointed at her glowing limbs. It's too much." She floated closer, wrapping a glowing arm around his shoulders. "And yet, you stayed, you didn't run." Cal's heart clenched. "Because He stopped, the words caught in his throat. How could he explain? How could he tell her that he loved her so much he didn't care what shape she took, what fear she inspired, what danger loomed? "I love you," he whispered finally, almost choking on it. "And I'll fight the world for you. I don't care if they think you're, I don't know, a monster. You're mine." Her glow softened, pulsing in a rhythm almost like a heartbeat. "Then we fight, together, always." And fight they did, but not with guns or lasers. Yet, with every story, every video, every screenshot going viral, Cal and her had to hide, to run, to plan. Friends became terrified strangers. Neighbors peeked from behind curtains. Helicopters buzzed overhead. It was as if the entire city had turned into a predator's playground and they were the prey. Still, amidst the chaos, she remained her. Her glowing presence filled every empty corner, every cold warehouse, every shadowed alley. She laughed when he tripped over a box of broken crates. She teased him when he accidentally spilled coffee on her luminous skin. Even when fear clawed at their hearts, she reminded him why he stayed. Then came the moment that truly tested them. Government agents arrived, sirens wailing, armed, moving with frightening efficiency. Cal grabbed her hand. "We run now." Her form twisted fluidly, bending and stretching through narrow windows, floating like water through pipes, leaving him blinking in awe. "You'll keep up, right?" she asked, voice dripping humor despite the chaos. I'll try," he shouted, scrambling over crates and ducking under low beams. His lungs burned, his heart pounded, and yet every time she glanced back at him, her glowing form beamed reassurance. He ran faster, not for himself, for her. They slipped into the underground tunnels of the city, darkness pressing in, echoing with distant shouts and the pounding of heavy boots above. Cal's hands trembled, not from fear, but from adrenaline and something else, something deeper. Love, terrifying, insane, overwhelming love. They emerged in a hidden alley, breathing hard. He collapsed against the brick wall, chest heaving. She hovered beside him, her glow softening, almost human again. "See," she whispered, "we survived together." Cal shook his head, a mix of exhaustion and awe. "Together," he echoed. And then, with a humor that only came from pure relief, he added, "Next time, can we start with less running and more coffee?" She laughed, a sound like chiming glass, like stars colliding softly in the night. And in that laugh, in that glowing, impossible, beautiful presence, Cal felt something profound. No matter what the world threw at them, no matter the fear, the panic, the impossible biology, or the alien eyes that scared everyone else, love could still win. But just as he relaxed, just as hope flickered in the darkness, a new sound echoed from the street above, a mechanical whirring, precise and menacing. Cal froze, her glow sharpened. Something bigger was coming, something the world had been holding in the shadows. And neither of them knew if they were ready. The mechanical whirring grew louder. Cal's stomach twisted into knots. His hands were slick with sweat as he tried to keep his breathing steady, trying to tell himself it was just the city, just machinery, just anything ordinary. But nothing was ordinary anymore. Not after waking to her alien form, not after running from the entire city, and not after realizing that love like theirs didn't fit into any human rule. Her glow flared suddenly, bright and fierce, illuminating the dark alley like a small, defiant sun. "They're here," she said, voice calm but tinged with steel. Cal froze. "They? Who? What do you mean?" "Not people," she said. "Not exactly." She floated a few inches above the ground, limbs twisting fluidly. "They are the ones sent to contain me, to control what they don't understand." He felt a cold knot tighten in his chest. "Contain you, like in a lab, cages, experiments." Her glowing form rippled, almost like she shivered. "Yes, they won't listen to reason. They won't see me, only as an anomaly, a threat." Cal's pulse raced. He wanted to shout at them, tell them to stop, to leave her alone, to see the love between them, but he knew it wouldn't work. These people, the authorities, the scientists, the world, were blind to anything that couldn't fit neatly into a report, a measurement, a statistic. The first agent appeared at the alley's entrance, armored, glowing equipment strapped across his chest. He froze when he saw her hovering there, light streaming off her form. His weapon didn't fire immediately. Cal realized that maybe they hadn't expected her to look like this. "Step away from the subject," the agent barked. "You are ordered to surrender immediately." Cal stepped forward, chest heaving. "You won't touch her. She's alive. She's human. He choked, unable to find the right words. "She's mine, and you don't get to decide what's normal." She floated closer to him, her glow softening but still fierce. "Cal, stay back. Don't." Too late, the agent lunged forward, weapon aimed. Time slowed. Cal felt frozen, powerless, terrified, but then she moved. Her limbs bent and stretched impossibly, twisting through the air like liquid metal, and in one motion she intercepted the device. It sparked, fizzled, and broke into harmless pieces before it could harm him. The agent stumbled back, fear evident in his eyes. Cal's heart hammered. "Holy, what the hell are you?" he shouted, equal parts awe and fear. "I am me," she said simply, "and I will protect what I love." The other agents appeared behind him, cautious, shouting orders, but she didn't hesitate. Her glow flared brighter, stretching across the walls of the alley, a radiant shield of color and warmth. The light made their electronics flicker. The humans froze, trying to comprehend what they saw. Cal reached for her hand. You can do that?" "Yes," she said, "but it's draining. I can't hold it forever. You have to trust me and me you." He nodded, swallowing the lump in his throat. "Always." The standoff lasted only seconds but felt like hours. Each side measured the other, fear and awe mixing in a way that made Cal's heart ache. He saw the hate, the panic, the misunderstanding in the human's eyes, but he also saw his own hope reflected in her glow. She was not a weapon. She was love, pure, defiant, impossible love. Finally, she leaned toward him, whispering just for him, "We leave now, follow me." Cal grabbed her hand, and together they slipped through the alley's end, moving faster than he thought possible, weaving through streets, alleys, and shadows. He stumbled several times, but she was always there, glowing softly to guide him, to protect him, to reassure him that he wasn't alone. When they finally stopped in a hidden courtyard, safe for a moment, he collapsed to his knees, gasping. That was insane. You're insane." She hovered above him, laughing softly, a sound like wind chimes caught in a storm. "Insane, maybe, but we survived, didn't we?" He reached up, touching her glowing cheek, feeling warmth even through her alien form. "Yes, we survived, together." Her glow softened, pulsing in rhythm with his heartbeat. "Cal, I know this is terrifying, but we will face whatever comes, together. no matter what the world thinks. Cal smiled weakly, brushing his hand against her glowing arm. Together, he whispered. And then, with a humor only exhaustion and relief could produce, he added, though next time maybe less dramatic standoffs. I like adrenaline, but my heart might explode. She laughed again, warmth and light radiating around him, and for the first time since she appeared above his bed in her alien form, Cal felt hope. Fear would come, danger would come. But so long as they were together, he realized the impossible could be faced. And nothing, not human laws, not fear, not the entire world, could change that. Cal had never felt the world so alive and so against him. Every street corner, every flickering news broadcast, every frightened whisper in the city reminded him that nothing would ever be the same. The girl he loved, his alien, impossible, radiant girl, was now the subject of every headline, every viral post, every frightened mind. She floated beside him in the abandoned warehouse they now called home. Her glow had softened, but it still pulsed with quiet strength. "We need a plan," she said. Her voice, though calm, carried the weight of someone who had seen entire worlds close doors on her before. "We can't keep running forever." Cal nodded, staring at her shimmering form. "Yeah, I know, but what kind of plan? You're well, you, and I'm me, and apparently the world wants us separated, permanently." She tilted her head, a gesture both alien and heartbreakingly human. "Then we make the world see us differently, not as monsters, not as anomalies, but as us, together." He swallowed, feeling both awe and panic. "You make it sound easy." "It's never easy," she said simply. "Love rarely is." And she was right. The moment they stepped outside, even cautiously, the city seemed to swarm with tension. Drones hovered above, cameras clicked, and the sound of footsteps echoed in every alley. Humans were everywhere, some starring, some whispering, some pointing, some holding their phones like they were weapons. Cal grabbed her hand instinctively, his heartbeat thundering. "Okay, maybe we try windows, rooftops, something quieter than you know, glowing like a disco ball." She laughed softly, the sound tinkling like tiny bells. "You worry too much, let me guide you." But the world wasn't so forgiving. Even as they navigated shadows and secret alleys, the authorities had begun coordinating. Every movement they made was tracked, every appearance noted. Soon, media outlets painted her as dangerous, a threat, a glowing anomaly that needed containment. Cal felt fury rise in his chest. "Dangerous?" he shouted one night into the darkness, his voice echoing off the walls. "She's the most human person I've ever met. She's brave, she's kind, and she's mine. How can anyone be so blind?" She hovered closer, wrapping him in a soft glow. "The world is afraid, Cal. Not of her, not really. Afraid of love that doesn't fit their rules, afraid of what they can't control, afraid of hope." He blinked, realizing she was right. The world feared her, not for who she was, but for the impossibility of loving her, for the challenge she posed to everything humans thought they knew. Tears stung his eyes. "Then we show them, don't we? Show them that love can survive anything, even fear, even hate." Her glow pulsed warmly, "Even death." The days blurred together. They slept in empty buildings, moved in the shadows, and survived on stolen food and whispered plans. Every interaction with humans brought a mix of awe and fear, some people stepping back in terror, some daring to reach out, curious, trembling. One night on the rooftop of an abandoned high-rise, Cal looked at her, glowing softly in the moonlight. I never imagined my life would be like this. Glowing alien girlfriends, government agents, viral hysteria, but somehow it's perfect, terrifyingly perfect." She hovered close, brushing her radiant fingers against his cheek. "Perfect isn't always calm, Cal. Perfect is surviving storms. Perfect is holding on to what matters, no matter the chaos around us. Perfect is us." Cal's throat tightened. He leaned closer, their foreheads touching, human and alien, glowing and trembling. "Us," he whispered back. For a moment the chaos faded. The drones, the media, the agents, they all vanished. There was only her, glowing like starlight, and him, trembling with awe and love. But the peace was fragile. Below them, the city never slept. Helicopters hovered, sirens wailed, and cameras recorded every shadow they cast. The world was closing in, faster than they could move, smarter than they could hide. Cal held her hand. We'll fight together no matter what. Her glow pulsed brighter, warmth flooding him. Together, she echoed. And no matter what comes, we survive because we have each other, always. As they stood on the rooftop, the wind tossing his hair and her glow lighting the night, Cal realized something terrifying and beautiful. The world would never accept them. But it didn't matter. They didn't need the world to understand. They needed only each other. And that was enough. Cal had never felt fear so vividly, yet never felt love so intensely. The city had become a maze of shadows and sirens, lights slicing through the night like blades. Every corner they turned, every alley they slipped into, the world seemed to be hunting them. Helicopters buzzed above, drones hovered like metallic vultures, and agents moved with terrifying precision, coordinated and relentless. She hovered beside him, glowing softly but brightly enough to light the dark streets. "We can't stop now," she said, her voice a melody of calm and steel. "If we rest, they catch us, and I will not let them hurt you." Cal swallowed hard. "I'm not stopping. I'll run, I'll hide, I'll do anything with you." But he gestured helplessly at the city around them. "They're everywhere. We can't fight all of this." "Maybe we don't fight them," she said, tilting her glowing head. "Maybe we survive them together." The wind whipped through the narrow streets as they moved. Cal stumbled once, twice, his heart hammering in his chest. Every time he looked at her, glowing like a living star, he felt awe, panic, and a strange, thrilling joy. The impossible was her, and the impossible was them together. Suddenly, a drone swooped down, lights cutting through the darkness. Cal froze, but she reacted instantly. Her body stretched and twisted, luminous limbs weaving through the air like liquid metal. The drone sparks and fizzled, disabled by a touch of her alien energy. Cal blinked, breathless. How are you doing that?" "I told you," she said, almost amused. "I protect what I love." Cal's chest tightened. There was fear, yes, but underneath it, a warmth that made every heartbeat worth it. He reached for her glowing hand. "Then let's go, wherever we have to. I'm not letting go." They darted through backstreets, leaping over debris, sliding through hidden tunnels, and climbing rusted fire escapes. Each movement was a test, each decision a gamble. Yet she guided him, glowing softly in the dark, her laughter ringing faintly through the chaos when he tripped or nearly fell. Hours, or maybe minutes, time felt impossible. Later, they found themselves on a rooftop overlooking the city. Lights shimmered like 1,000 tiny stars, and below them the authorities paused, as if sensing they had lost the prey. Cal sank to his knees, exhausted, trembling from adrenaline. She floated down beside him, her glow bathing him in warmth. "You did well," she whispered. "You kept up." I didn't think I could," he admitted, voice shaking. "But I couldn't let you face this alone, not ever. I love you." Her glow brightened, pulsing against his cheek as she leaned close. "I love you too, Cal, more than you can imagine. And love is what makes us strong, stronger than fear, stronger than the world." He looked into her impossible, radiant form and felt tears prick his eyes. Every fear, every nightmare, every warning dissolved. Here she was, impossible, terrifying, alien, and utterly beautiful, and she was his. "Then let's survive it all," he whispered. "Together." "Together," she echoed, her glowing form wrapping around him like a protective shield. Below them, the city hummed, alive with chaos and confusion. The world would not stop hunting them. The media would speculate endlessly, the government would deploy more forces, and fear would grow like wildfire. But up here on this rooftop above the chaos, Cal realized something important. They didn't need the world to understand. They only needed each other, and so long as they held on, they could face anything. Her hand brushed against his cheek, glowing softly, a warmth unlike any fire or sunlight he had ever felt. "We will survive," she said. "I promise. No matter what they throw at us, we will survive, and we will find a way to live, to love, to be together." Cal nodded, heart hammering, tears streaking down his cheeks. "I believe you, I believe us, always." She smiled, or the closest approximation of a smile her alien form could manage, and wrapped her glowing limbs around him. "Always," she echoed. And in that moment, with sirens wailing far below and helicopters hovering over the city like predatory birds, they found a strange, unshakable peace. Fear surrounded them, danger hunted them, but their love made them untouchable, unbreakable, unstoppable. For the first time since she had appeared above his bed, glowing and alien and impossible, Cal realized that no matter what the world threw at them, they would survive. Not because they were invincible, not because they were stronger than humanity, but because they had something no one else could understand: each other. And that was enough. The city lights blurred beneath them as they stood on the rooftop, Cal gripping her glowing hand as if letting go was impossible. Sirens still screamed in the distance, drones buzzed like angry bees, and somewhere far below, the world continued its endless hum of panic and fear. But up here, suspended above it all, they had a moment of impossible peace. She looked at him, her alien form shimmering with 1,000 soft colors. "Cal," she said softly, "we can't run forever. One day they will corner us, but I will never leave you. Never. We survive together or not at all." Cal swallowed hard, his chest tight. "I don't care what they think. I don't care if the world hates us, fears us, or misunderstands us. You are everything I've ever wanted, everything I've ever loved, and I will fight, always, with you, forever." Her glow pulsed brighter, reflecting his heartbeat in colors he couldn't name. For a moment, he imagined the entire universe folding into that rooftop, the wind carrying their love across galaxies, their laughter echoing in the void. She had changed, her body, her being, everything, but the core of her remained, kind, courageous, utterly human in a way that made him ache with pride and awe. Then the night exploded in light. Helicopters descended, searchlights cutting through the darkness like knives. Agents shouted orders, voices sharp and mechanical. The world was closing in faster than ever. Cal's hands trembled as he clutched hers. We fight them." She shook her glowing head. "No, not fight. Survive, run, live, love." Her form arched gracefully, bending in ways that seemed impossible, and with a sudden fluid motion, she lifted them both into the night sky. Wind whipped past Cal's face as they soared above the city, glowing like twin stars in the darkness. He held her than ever, heart-hammering, stomach-twisting with a mixture of terror and exhilaration. Below them, the world stretched endlessly, unaware, unable to reach them. "Cal," she whispered, voice echoing softly in his mind, Do you still love me now?" His throat tightened. "I love you more than I can say, more than the world can understand, more than anything." Her glow pulsed, brighter and warmer than ever. "Then we survive together, no matter what comes." Hours passed, or maybe only minutes. Time was meaningless when flying through the night with the person you loved beyond reason. Every shadow below, every flash of light from a drone, only reminded him how fragile and precious their freedom was. And every moment above the chaos reminded him how unbreakable their love had become. Finally, they landed on a distant cliff overlooking a quiet valley, far from the city, far from judgment, far from fear. She hovered gently, her glow soft and soothing. Cal collapsed to his knees, exhaustion and emotion overwhelming him. "You're incredible," he whispered, touching her glowing arm. "I don't know how you do it, how you are it, but I'm so glad, I'm so unbelievably glad you're mine." Her glow wrapped around him like warmth. "And I am yours, Cal, always." He took a deep breath, tears streaking his cheeks. Then we build our world, here, somewhere they can't touch, somewhere just us." She nodded, floating closer, limbs curling around him in a luminous embrace. "Yes, our world, and it starts with love and hope and survival, always together." For the first time since she had appeared above his bed, radiant and alien and impossible, Cal felt a strange calm settle over him. Fear hadn't vanished, it never would, but it had been replaced with something stronger, unbreakable: hope, courage, and the power of love that refused to bend to rules or fear. They watched the sunrise together, her glowing form softening in the gentle light. The world below still raged with confusion, ignorance, and fear, but it didn't matter. They had each other. That was enough. That was everything. Cal took her hand, looking into her radiant, impossible eyes. "No matter what the world thinks," he said, voice firm, steady, full of certainty, "we survive, we love, we live together." She smiled, or the closest approximation of a smile her alien form could make, and whispered, "Together, always. And in that quiet, beautiful moment, floating above the chaos, above the world, Cal understood something profound. Humanity wasn't just in humans. It was in love, courage, compassion. It was in defiance of fear. It was in surviving against all odds and holding the ones you loved than the world could ever hope to reach. And that was how they would live. Impossible, radiant, alien, human, unbreakable. Together,